Welcome back, everyone, to another video talking about one of my favorite scenes from a historic-based movie. There's a lot of great scenes and a lot of great movies, but this is the one I wanted to talk about today. And it's not the one that I think most people talk about. I think when people talk about Saving Private Ryan, typically your thoughts go to the Omaha Beach scene, which is just fantastic and brutal and such an incredible depiction of what happened on D-Day. But I want to show the scene that takes place right at the end of that because it's loosely based on historic events, but it's also a very powerful scene for a number of reasons. So this is the scene where we set the stage for Saving Private Ryan. Now, Private Ryan's a fictional character, as is his family, but they are loosely based on the Nyland family. And the Nyland family were four brothers who were all serving in the military, three in the European theater and one in the Pacific. And two of the Nyland brothers were killed in action in Normandy a day apart, one on the 6th and one on the 7th. One of them was with the 29th Infantry Division, another one was with the 82nd Airborne. Another brother was thought to have been killed in the Pacific, but as it turned out a year later, he had actually been a POW and he survived the war. The fourth brother, who I believe was Fritz, was his name. In fact, we'll take a look real quick because I want to make sure I get this right. So here are the four brothers, the Nyland brothers. There's Tech Sergeant Ed Nyland, who was the one that was thought to have been killed in the Pacific Theater. Second Lieutenant Preston Nyland, who was killed all with the 4th Infantry Division. I'm sorry, not the 29th, the 4th. Was killed with the 29th or the 4th Infantry Division on June 7th. Bob Nyland was a sergeant that was killed with the 82nd Airborne and the 505th Infantry on Normandy. In Normandy, he was killed manning his machine gun. And then Fritz Nyland, who was actually good friends with Skip Muck and Don Malarkey from Easy Company, who were also in the 501st, or also in the 101st Airborne. He was the one who, when they found out about his three brothers, two being killed and one thought to have been killed, that they sent him back to England and eventually sent him back to the States, where he served as an MP for the rest of the war. So the couple of things I love about this scene. Number one, obviously, there, as a parent myself, there's just the heartbreaking realization that a mother's going to get 3 telegrams at the same time. And then they actually show the scene where the guy from the military gets out and he's got the priest with him, and you know if they brought the priest how bad it's going to be. And she falls down on the porch, and you just heart breaks as a parent seeing that scene. And then you have the scene with Dale Dye, who played Colonel Sink in Band of Brothers, only with white hair this time, having an argument with the future Walter White, Bryan Cranston. And then, of course, you have the fantastic part where you have General Marshall reading the letter that was written to a Mrs. Bixby in Boston. Now, a couple of things about that letter. Number one, Mrs. Bixby did not have 5 children who died in the war. I believe only 2 of them actually died. But it was thought at the time that 5 died. Secondly, Mrs. Bixby was, even though her sons fought for the Union, had some Southern sympathies, which was kind of interesting. And there's a lot of debate about whether or not Abraham Lincoln's the one who wrote that letter, or whether it was, I think, John Hay, his secretary, who actually wrote the letter. Either way, it's a beautiful letter, some of the most powerful words that came out of that period of the war, or of history. So let's go ahead and watch this. I may stop it a couple of times just to kind of add some more comments. Of course, none of the Nyland brothers actually died on the beach in Normandy.
Dear Mr. Brian Boyd, no doubt by now you have received full information about the untimely death of your son.
No words of mine can ever relieve the grief. Our outfit has felt his loss tremendously.
He was a fine soldier.
Could you imagine what this job would be like? And I don't know the background behind this, if this is accurate at all, but all day just having to type letters to parents from military leaders talking about their child's death. I just can't imagine that. That would have to be tough to go home with.
He believed very strongly in what...
It's no secret anymore that we were involved in one of the most important operations of this war.
Powell was the one who held us all together. He was always the first volunteer.
Came to a clearing near a road where over 4,000 troops attacked.
Your husband served with a combat unit whose dangerous duty is to place itself in
Which we all cherish and
low.
hold so dear. The loss of Lee and others like him is a distinct blow to
I
the
fully understand your desire to learn as much as possible regarding the circumstances leading to his death.
So this is kind of a fascinating part too, and it's kind of interesting to kind of see military bureaucracy in action because you see the information work its way up the chain of command here.
Colonel, I've got something you should know about.
Yes.
And I don't know if you have ever seen the movie Revenge of the Nerds, but this guy I think was the head of the college in Revenge of the Nerds. I don't know why I remember him from that, but that's literally the only thing I remember seeing him in. And now we've got Walter White over here.
These two men died in Normandy. This one in Omaha Beach.
Sean Ryan.
This man at Utah.
Peter Ryan.
This man was killed last week in New Guinea.
Daniel Ryan.
The three men are brothers, sir. I've just learned that this afternoon their mother's going to be getting all 3 telegrams.
How could you ever be the same after that? And, this did actually happen. If you're not familiar with the story, they actually made a movie about the Sullivan brothers. I think there were 5 of them. Let me look it up real quick. And there's actually a ship called the USS The Sullivans. Yeah, so there are 5 brothers, 27, 26, 24, 23, and 20. And they're referred to in this scene here. We'll see in just a second. They were on the USS Juno, and they were all killed in action in the naval battle of Guadalcanal. And, as a parent, losing a child is just devastating, and you would never be the same. But to lose 5 at one time, I can't imagine.
It's not all. There's a 4th brother, the youngest. He parachuted in with the 101st Airborne night before the invasion. He's somewhere in Normandy. We don't know where.
Is he alive?
We don't know.
Up the chain of command we go, all the way to General Marshall, Chief of Staff. I mean, and every day as a parent during this war, I just can't imagine every day wondering if your kid's alive, wondering if they're going to survive. Oh. And now she figures it out. And here she's wondering which one, only to find out it's 3 of them.
It.
All 4 of them were in the same company in the 29th Division, but we split them up after the Sullivan brothers died.
Sullivans.
Any contact with the 4th son, James?
No, sir. He was dropped about 15 miles inland near Neuville, but that's still deep behind German
Now,
lines.
Mac, there is no way you can know where in the hell he was dropped. General, first reports out of Ike's people at Shafe said the 101st is scattered all to hell and gone. There's misdrops all over Normandy. Now, assuming Private Ryan even survived the jump, he could be anywhere. In fact, he's probably KIA.
So Dale Dye is what they call, he's kind of known as the military advisor to the movies. So he was a military advisor on Saving Private Ryan. He, much the same producers working on Band of Brothers a couple years later, and he was military advisor on that, and also stars as Colonel Sink in Band of Brothers, but looks very different here. But I love this part here. This is where General Marshall, who's the chief of staff of the military. Interesting about General Marshall, he was a kind of a mid-level officer back in World War I, serving on the staff of General Pershing. I think he was like a captain or a major at first, and eventually goes up to maybe colonel. But he pretty much ran the war for the U.S. military during World War I. Pershing trusted him with doing all of the planning for the U.S. military, so he was already kind of on the fast track to being the head of the military. And then, of course, after the war, he serves as, I think, Secretary of State under Truman, and he's responsible for the Marshall Plan, which was to get supplies and everything into Germans.
And frankly, sir, we go sending some sort of rescue mission. Flat-hatting throughout swarms of German reinforcements all along our axis of advance. They're going to be KIA, too.
I have a letter here, written a long time ago to a Mrs. Bixby in Boston. Bear with me. Dear Madam, I have been shown in the files of the War Department a statement of the Adjutant General of Massachusetts that you are the mother of 5 sons who have died gloriously on the field of battle. I feel how weak and fruitless must be any words of mine that would attempt to beguile you from the grief of a loss so overwhelming. But I cannot refrain from tendering to you the consolation that may be found in the thanks of the Republic they died to save. I pray that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and leave you only the cherished memory of the loved and lost. The solemn pride that must be yours to have laid so costly a sacrifice upon the altar of freedom. Yours very sincerely and respectfully, Abraham Lincoln.
Such a great letter. Fantastic. The wording is amazing.
The boy's alive. We are going to send somebody to find him. And we are going to get him the hell out of there.
Yes, sir.
That's such a great, just the whole scene is fantastic. It sets up the movie. It kind of gives you the background into why this matters, even if it means sacrificing other people's lives. And I just love everything about it. So let me know your thoughts. And if there's a particular scene you'd like me to talk about next, use the comment section below. Thanks for watching.